I might be a little over the top today, Father, because I know this is one state, Texas, where the governor, Greg Abbott, tweeted, "No freedom is more precious than life itself." And he said, starting today, which was September 1st, every unborn child with a heartbeat will be protected from the ravages of abortion. Could you? I'm so happy. Think of the babies that are going to be born 5, 10, 20 years from now as adults and saying that this is how I got through being, not having being aborted. The governor of Texas and the Supreme Court decided 5-4, and I want to say President Trump is involved in all his writings are all over this because guess what? He picked several of the judges who voted for this. Am I onto something, Father?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I just came from a conference call with President Trump.
Oh my.
And pro-life and faith leaders on the call. And we were thanking him, of course, for his work helping the cause of life. And one of the big ways that he helped the cause of life is precisely in these Supreme Court justices, because now we see the fruit of it here in what they did yesterday by letting this Texas law go into effect. They did not rule on the constitutionality of the law. Right. That's going to be a part of their task later on this year and into next year as they hear the Dobbs case, as it's called, this abortion case, which is going to examine the question of whether laws are unconstitutional if they protect the baby in the earlier stages of pregnancy. But nevertheless, those justices, including the 3 that President Trump appointed, did the right thing in letting this law go into effect, which, as you just quoted from the governor, it's a heartbeat law. Heartbeat laws have been passed in various other states,
That's right.
But this is the first one that has been allowed to take effect. And it basically says, when the heartbeat can be detected, not when the baby has the heartbeat, because when we know the baby has a heartbeat starting at like 21 days after conception, but when the heartbeat can be detected, and that, of course, depends on the method of detection, that baby is to be protected. And the according to the Texas law, it's going to be at the 6-week mark. That's very significant. That will stop 85% of the abortions in Texas. Wow. There were some 54,000 babies killed in Texas by abortion just last year, and 85% of those were beyond 6 weeks. So this will be saving tens of thousands of lives just in Texas each year.
Father, I want to bring this up now because this is great news for us who have been fighting for the unborn for decades. What can we do? I know the midterms are coming quickly, but what can we do? What can you give our listeners as advice to keep the pressure on for the unborn?
Well, it is, first of all, essential to show people the child. Yeah. This is what really helps people to see this as a real issue. It's not just about concepts or ideas or beliefs. We have better imagery of the child than ever before. And I want to point out a special website we have is unborn.info. And unborn.info, we have, for example, a series of images that were recently created with the technology that NASA uses when they take pictures of the Earth. Namely, they put different layers of data on top of each other and combine it into an image that is very powerful in detail. So this has been done by the Education Resource Fund, it's called. The web address is ERF for Education Resource Fund, ERF.science. Science is a web extension now, so ERF.science. People will see these amazing images of the baby at 7, 8, 9, and 10 weeks of development. And because I've always been convinced, the problem here, one of the problems is that abortion is too abstract of an issue for too many people. Yep. We got to look at that baby. And of course, we have to look at what abortion does to the baby. And those are much harder things to look at. But this is what's going to keep people motivated in the fight. It's one of the things that keeps me motivated. Just keep going back to the basics.
Exactly.
Who is this baby?
Right on.
And what does abortion do to this baby?
Father, I mentioned the National Geographic video where they had a camera in the mother's womb during
Yep.
the development of that child. I know you know all about that. To me, showing that to people, they don't say, oh, well, that's a pro-life organization. That is not a pro-life organization. It's science. And so
No.
can you talk a little bit about how beautiful that is?
Yes, that imagery is also, you can see it there at unborn.info. We have a lot of that footage on
Good.
our Priests for Life sites. That's a project that I'm very familiar with. And back in the 1990s, a doctor in Texas had the footage from this process called embryoscopy, not frequently used. We're more used to seeing the ultrasound pictures, but this is an actual camera going into the womb, going up against the amniotic sac, and you see in living color the baby stretching and yawning and moving around. You see the heart beating, and in full color. It's amazing, amazing footage. It is far more dramatic footage than ultrasound is.
Absolutely.
And this is something that it removes all doubt about who this baby is. People have all kinds of things in their imagination about, some unformed mass of cells and tissue and whatnot. No, this is when the baby is, this law in Texas is talking about 6 weeks. And, when the baby has reached 6 weeks of development, now I'm talking after fertilization, because there's two different ways of measuring it. But after fertilization, by the time the baby is 6 weeks, that heart has beat just about 4 million times.
Wow.
4 million times. And the body organs are developing. And I mean, by the end of 8 weeks, you've got all the bodily systems are present that you find in the newborn and in the adult. So the baby is far more developed, far earlier than most people realize.
Father, when we come back, if just for a couple minutes, I want people to know how they can help you. And also, how do we know? I know we know statistically that when a mother sees the baby, whether it's ultrasound, so many times they change their mind. And I have a statistic that I'd like to share with people when we come back. It's a teaser, folks, but I'll tell you what, it's a powerful one. We'll be back with more on the Terry and Jesse. Welcome back. Jesse will be back on Tuesday. As you know, he had COVID with his wife. They're recovering. He's doing fine. And thanks be to God, with early treatments, he was able to stay at home and recover. So thanks be to God. I have my good friend, Father Frank Pavone from Priests for Life here. And Father, I want to encourage people to support you. But before that, I had a little teaser about individuals who see the baby at clinics. I see sometimes the Knights of Columbus helping with ultrasound machines that are at the clinics. This has been a very effective way to help people make a good decision on saving their baby. Has it not?
It is. It is. We know that it has an impact. There's always dispute about exact numbers, and
right.
It's hard to be certain about exact percentages. But this we know, that seeing the baby, first of all, it overcomes what I was saying in the last segment about this overly abstract approach to the whole abortion question. It makes it personal, makes it concrete. It's not just that they're seeing the baby. Now they are seeing their baby.
Amen.
And so it's the question of bonding. The reality of bonding is a very big factor in saying, hey, that's my baby there. Now I have face-to-face contact with my child. And it makes it much harder after that experience to reject that child or to subject that child to torture and death, which is what abortion is.
Amen. Father, I want our people to know how they can support you, especially like even monthly checks to Priests for Life, so that you can continue this special work that you're doing. Could you share how they could do that?
Well, thank you for that. Yes, we have a special site, prolifegift.org, and that's the donation page. Prolifegift.org gives people the chance to make a secure, a tax-deductible donation online. It also has our phone number. They can just call us if they want to do it a different way. They could send a check. Oh, and like you said, they can become a monthly supporter, which helps us in our planning of our projects and activities. So prolifegift.org has all the info there.
Great. Father, I hope and pray that all the other radio and television Catholic networks are calling you like I do all the time to say, come on and talk about this, because I know your day's going to be busy, but I'm praying that all these groups want to hear from you to talk about how we can continue to protect the unborn. So I appreciate the minutes that you've given to us. I know you've got to run, but again, for those people who are listening and saying, well, 25 years ago, I had an abortion, or a man said I impregnated a woman and I paid for the abortion. What can you do to help people like that?
Well, we have the outreach of Rachel's Vineyard, and this is the largest ministry in the world for healing after abortion, for the moms, the dads, the entire family. If people go to abortionforgiveness.com, that's a website where they can simply enter their zip code and find the healing ministries closest to them, including Rachel's Vineyard retreats. But abortionforgiveness.com should be reassuring for people to know there is help available. We do not reject you. We want to help you. And I mean, I've ministered to people who have had as many as 25 abortions.
Wow.
And even they, upon repenting, can and will find the peace and mercy of Christ. So no one should despair. We who reject abortion do not reject those who have had abortion.
Amen to that. Wow.
That's what we say. Yes, exactly.
Father Frank Pavone, Priest for Life. People, please support his work. I have been with Father Frank. Actually, folks, I've known him before he was a Catholic priest. What? When he was at the seminary in New York. So I go way back, and I just want to encourage you. If you want an endorsement, you got it right here, Father. So Priest for Life are doing so much work to help protect the unborn, and they will continue to do that with your help, folks. Go to priestforlife.org and support them. Father, I'll let you get back to the next interview. And you know what? One last thing I want to say. President Trump, you said you had an interview with him just now with a lot of pro-life organizations, thanking him for the fact that he was able to protect the unborn through 3 Supreme Court justices' picks. What do you think for the next election for the presidency? We're praying that he will come back, because he showed us for 4 years that he was there, not only on the abortion issue, but on a lot of issues of people going to work and just doing a lot of good things of cleaning up our country's red tape. I mean, I'm hoping and praying, I know you are too, but that he will come back in a couple years and run again, because our country is desperately in need of him. Would you agree with that?
Well, yes. And one thing I can tell you, he's very engaged in what's going on. He's speaking out. People can go to donaldjtrump.com, by the way, and see his statements that he makes each day and his commentaries, donaldjtrump.com. He's endorsing candidates that we should get behind for the midterm election.
Yes.
And here's the thing about President Trump. You can be sure of this. He's looking at what's happening to America.
Yes.
And he is always calculating in his mind, do we have a problem here? And obviously right now we do. There are people out there destroying our country. And he's always asking himself, is there something I can do about it? Because if he sees an opportunity where he can do something to help save this country, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. So I think we can take that as an encouragement. Absolutely. But I really would urge people, stay connected with President Trump. As I say, donaldjtrump.com, you'll see a lot going on. And on our website, by the way, we have a special page called PresidentTrumpRallies.com. As he continues to give rallies and speeches, we have them there that people can watch. He was recently in Alabama, as you know. He was near EWTN.
Yes.
And he gave a great rally in Alabama, a great speech. So watch it on PresidentTrumpRallies.com.
Thanks again, Father Frank Pavone from Priest for Life. Thanks for joining us. God love you.